Hey guys, Bulk here. Just wanted to give an update on Once Human. Uh, I'm kind of in the Eternal Land area here where I've built something silly and ridiculous just because I could. But wanted to kind of give an overview here on this game. I've been playing it for a few months now. Wanted to kind of give that replay and where I'm at on it. And as you can see, building this thing is kind of what's taking up my time. But that's for one reason that I don't really like, and that's that it's kind of gotten, the rest of the game has kind of gotten old for me. I've played Way of Winter. I've played Manibus. The Manibus scenario, I just tried the lunar one where, like, for 6 hours during the game, your sanity goes through the roof and you can't really play all that much without getting nuked. So on that note, I don't know. I don't see myself playing this much longer. Which I kind of hate that. I'll be honest. I kind of hate that because I like this game. Like, I really like this game. The gameplay itself is smooth. It's crisp. As you can see, the building is, you get the operations too frequent every once in a while, but it's kind of a moot point. I'm not super worried about that. I understand it has to communicate back with the server at some point, so I'm not really freaking out too much on that. Gameplay's fun. It's a lot of fun. It seems like the developers have really focused on making things challenging in different ways without making things new, and giving closure to previous storylines. Like, I want to know what happens, right? Does that make sense? I want to know, what happened after I did the last level. I get that they have kind of that last phase where the main boss kind of deal shows up and you have to fight it. And then, like for Manibus, they have the nightmare war things, Prime Wars, but they don't really give you closure. They're just like, okay, now sign up for a new scenario. I'm like, well, what happened? You're introduced to Mitsuko at the very beginning, and I get that, there's kind of an implication that she stopped hiding and is out in the world now. That's great, but you don't really get that closure. And I get that, maybe you didn't win. It's a very common theme in some storylines where no matter what you do, you still don't win. But if you're just gonna not win forever, eventually people get tired of losing. And if you did win, people want to know. Give me some credit rolls, Give me the that thing that happens when you have that closure of, hey, the story's over. You did well. You're the hero of this place or whatever. Or you and everybody on this server are responsible for awesome things happening. It just kind of goes straight into the next scenario. Now, I did play Way of Winter as well. That one took some getting used to. The Way of Winter mechanics have a lot to do with thermal stuff, hot and cold, which can be frustrating when you first try it because you're roaming around the map and then you're dead. Like, there's nothing you can do, you've blacked out, you're dead, you got too hot or too cold. The downside with that is, once you get high enough level and you figure out you can make soup, you can go wherever you want to. Soup takes care of it, which means if you can find someone selling soup, then you can play whichever area you want to and you'd be alright. So the mechanic like falls flat when they have stuff like that, but I don't think that needed to be there in the first place. But it's the same type of thing as Manibus, Way of Winter is, where you go through the story, it looks like you have this nice bit of closure, sort of, and the closure is now you have a big boss that you have to fight for a phase. And that big boss, never really gets destroyed. What you get instead is just like a forever having to fight it. And with the Way of Winter especially, what I ran into there was it's a really big building. The bosses that you ended up having to fight end up being there from the beginning, and by the time it's a thing where you want to fight them, the rest of the servers kind of fizzled and moved on to other things, and you're kind of just stuck not knowing where to go next. Wish I could frame it differently or try to help frame it differently, but that's really just what it is. I don't want that one. Steel instead. Nope, obviously not. Here's a good one. Nope. Okay, there we go. Oofta. Okay, well, I don't want to go there. Okay. Like I said, I like this game. I really, really, really like this game. Which is why I hate having to say that it's probably not much longer that I'll be playing it regularly. In fact, I'm going days now between playing it. And that's to no... That's just me getting bored with it. There is another section of map that I've kind of heard speculation they're gonna create some storyline around, and that will be cool. Good enough. What are we gonna do here? Anyway, so yeah, this is kind of the update on Way of Winter. I know I'm babbling a bit. My super crazy, oopsies, super crazy giant tower here. Better check this side for those. Yeah, sure enough. But I would recommend it. I would recommend it, but just don't. And the devs probably aren't going to like me saying this, but just don't expect it to be a long-term game. Like, expect that you're going to get a good couple of months, maybe up to 6 months with the game, and then you're going to hit that wall of the type of content that's getting pushed out is just mechanic content, and it doesn't really do the game any favors as far as captivating. The Now the pretties are pretty on this game, I will say that. You know, your characters, the cosmetics, those are, you can tell they put a lot of time and effort into that. But at some point, you gotta have something that keeps you engaged, and that's kind of where it's fallen flat, is that engagement piece. I do like... Oh, I should have grabbed those. Yeah, because that's what that's for. See, I like the building. The building's fun, and you can come up with... Now, granted, this inside of a scenario, you're not going to come up with this ridiculousness that I've come up with. This is Eternal Land. Eternal Land is for the silly, and I love Eternal Land for that. Because as long as you've got the astral sand to do it, which grinding will get it done, you can build whatever you want. Batcave included. I can't do this. Yeah, I gotta grab the other. You know, the nice part is at some point when I get back into this game, because I know I will, you know, at some point they're going to expand. There's another section of map that's supposed to be getting released, and I'll probably, if that comes with a new PvE scenario, I will probably play the dog snot out of that for a couple seasons, see what the mechanics are, gripe about it a little bit, because for some reason when they put out a new scenario, they put out, oopsies, they put out new mechanics, and the new mechanics, just, you know, honest opinion here is the new mechanics suck. They just suck. Oh, hey, look, now you have to keep yourself from burning to death, or you have to keep yourself sane, or you have to... It's like they take the mechanics they built in and they just go overboard with them, and it takes some element of fun out of the game. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't, or at least it does for me. But, you know, I'm not everyone, to each their own. There might be stuff that you would like about challenging mechanics for each new scenario. I like story. I like, you know, I don't mind having to re-level up my character. I do like that your blueprints, the star levels of your blueprints, those follow you from scenario to scenario. So that's not bad. There are so many pluses on this game that it just bugs me to no end that I'm getting bored with it. Because I could sit here and build, and that's the part that also catches me, is like, I could sit here and build like an Eternal Land here for hours, and I probably will. And I'm thankful that that never goes away. You know, each scenario you gotta start back from scratch. Eternal Land, you can take apart, you know, redo, change it up, have fun with it, and it'll always be there for you to come back to, which is pretty cool. I like that. But it really comes down to that storyline. Like, I have to have a reason to want to be in this world. And, oh, that was just a happy accident. And building, as much fun as that is... Oops. Sorry, pipe connections. I'm hitting the wrong things. as much fun as building is, I'm looking forward to when they come out with something else. I know I sound like a blasted broken record on that. I really do. We need more stories. Son of a biscuit. Okay. Anyway, that's what I got. That's the revisit to Once Human. The lunar thing sucked, in my opinion. Way of Winter at least had more storyline, but the mechanics sucked. And they did introduce the tar things though, which are just little deviants that collect gas for you, which was a very tedious task in Manibus. So I'm thankful they did that. They do fun little stuff every once in a while, just not enough to keep me engaged all the time. As I sit here and get spacey on building. As you can tell, this is one of the pieces of this game that I really enjoyed. But for the sake of the length of this video and to keep your attention, I guess we'll go ahead and call this for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.